Oh, that's not horrifying at all. I was kidnapped by a sovereign citizen/anarchist group and nearly killed. To this day, one of their members has been trying to run me over. They've also said that my family line must end and none of my siblings can have grandkids. And the police are too afraid to do anything about it. And this all happened in the Northeast U.S. 25. A miracle if I've ever heard one. My mom had always been told she couldn't have children. When her dad died, she went through an emotional time and asked God for some sign that he was in heaven. Suddenly, she finds out she's pregnant, and the due date was her dad's birthday. 26. When you pull the trigger, and it ends up being a BB gun. Someone forced me to pull the trigger to a gun against their head. No bullet, but I didn't know. It was a heated moment. I was sobbing, left me a huge mess. Doesn't even seem real to me now. It's been so long ago. That entire time of my life doesn't feel real even. 27. This guy stole someone else's identity and hasn't looked back since. I am not who I am. Back in 1990s, I walked out of a hospital with another patient's identity and have been living as that person ever since. At that time, I already did not have any next of kin, and no, I do not know whatever happened to the person I took documents from. I have been living in a different country, and I had been issued passports in the name of that person twice already. I had submitted my biometric data, and as I had no problem obtaining the passports, I assume that my identity donor is most probably dead and gone. I am not a criminal, and I am a sort of wealthy expat businessman here with a permanent residence permit. I had never been to my homeland since, and am working on obtaining citizenship here. 28. He survived a plane crash. I was in a plane crash into the ocean. I swam more than 20 miles to shore, alone in the dark, to get help for the other survivors in the plane. 29. Her mom was still breastfeeding her when she was 14. I didn't stop breastfeeding until I was around 14. I'm a girl. And no, there was no milk left, but somehow my mom just never got around to weaning me off of it until I realized that this was fucking weird and refused to keep doing it. Even now when I'm upset, she would ask me if I wanted to suck her boobs. I'm 19. If it matters, my dad died when I was 8. 30. Apparently there are minefields that we are not warned of in the U.S. I walk every day, unbeknownst to me, on a minefield. While pregnant. In the United States. 31. Yeah, this does not happen to everyone. When I was 18, I was in a dorm room and looking for my econ books. Looked in the closet, and yeah, they were on the floor. As I bent over and picked them up, I slipped and banged into the back of the closet, and a board came loose. There was a sock in there, and it was about $1,600. That was a good summer. 32. The time God finally heard his prayers. Was praying one night about a purpose for my life while driving home. Was inexplicably moved to pull over on the side of the road to talk to a kid I saw sitting on a bench. We had in common the same name, age, and medical conditions. I have multiple sclerosis. Turns out he was sitting on the road due to a concussion he'd gotten earlier in the night, and needed me to drive him to the hospital. I've wanted to be a doctor ever since. 33. Her ex-boyfriend had multiple personality disorder. I had a boyfriend with dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality disorder, or split personalities. On numerous occasions, I watched him switch identities right in front of me. He only knew of 3 identities, but I counted at least 4. At one point, He switched while we were having sex to his most insane identity. I was on top and looked down at him, and he had this creepy smile, and I just knew. Fucking terrifying. Anyway, one of his personalities was female, and after a time of identifying as various stages of bi/gay, he finally decided/realized that he truly felt like a woman, and has been undergoing sexual reassignment therapy for the last few years. 34. Very disconcerting to know that this has happened. My dad's first wife was murdered by a hitman, hired by a funeral director, that just sold her a burial plot, because he needed more business. Both fled the country, and were never caught. 35. He was held hostage. When I was 5, car full of bank robbers ran inside the laundromat where my mom was doing her weekly wash. They grabbed me as a hostage while the SWAT was surrounding the building. There was a gun to my head, and about 1,000 men in black gear and helmets pointing weapons at the robber. But they negotiated, I guess, and they ended up getting arrested. Please like, share, and subscribe, people.